How we feeling? How we doing? How we looking? It's Sunday. So I'm coming on here today to maybe start the podcast that I've been wanting to do. I've been discussing it with a lot of people, trying to come on here and make stuff happen. And unfortunately, um, people slack. People have things to do in their lives. Maybe people aren't locked in or in tune like I am. But I want to come on here and maybe start a conversation or be able to state my opinion. All it is just all opinion. I never said it was all facts. Don't want nobody coming at me on the internet trying to come at me on all different angles, throw shades, negative comments. Like, nah, not on there for this. This is just me stating my opinion, uh, bring you into my mind or how I feel. So, today's topic, we're probably gonna talk about the young niggas, the OGs, and the unks. Every type of phase that comes with it, and what you can learn from all three. I feel like, and I had a phone conversation with some of the dudes that I used to work with. These are very intelligent black men, and we three-way the call, and we sat there, and they wanted to do it on Discord and stuff like that. And like I said, unfortunately, things happen, and everybody just sorting out lives and stuff. But I still want that to work out. And these are very intelligent men, and they put me on a lot of game having a conversation. So I'm just coming on here, basically, kind of just I don't want to take everything that they said because that's not fair. So shout out to them. You know who you are if you eventually watch this. But I just want to come on here and probably just give my perspective on what they were talking about, or maybe my 2 cents of what I put in. But we were talking about we'll say for like OG for exit. So a long time in the black community, we have a lot of OGs, people that are older than us that might get respect or might put you on game, maybe in the streets or in life, maybe in the hood, wherever you came from in the type of environment that you are from. But majority of the time, we'll talk about the streets, right? So on the street level, you got OGs that basically will put you on game, and we'll say about 75% of the time that it leads you to death and in prison, and most of them aren't doing nothing, or they're still stuck in a time that don't exist no more. And you have some that have gone through the loss, the pain, that gone through all the tragic moments, and they might try to actually steer you the right way. They might tell you, hey, if you go down this path, this is what comes with it. This is what happened when I did this, and this is what I had to face that comes with the consequences. You only get a very few handful of those that will basically try to steer you the right way and teach you how to play the game right when it comes to the streets or in life in general. Learn how to deal with enemies, learn how to respect people, how to deal with being disrespected. You know what I mean? And so that's what it feels like to be a OG. OG is somebody who offers you game, but I feel like we mixed the two up just because a nigga could be old and he's been out there his whole life, and he might give you the wrong game because he's been around your daddy or your uncle or your mama or your grandmama, and he was just around on the block, and he was just peeping game saying that your daddy was this, your mama was this, your daddy was that. You ain't never met your daddy, so you just going off the words that you hear and stuff like that. You feel me? So it's a big loophole to all this type of shit. There's a lot of wins and losses that come with it, and we'll say for like young niggas, you young niggas phase, we say like early 20s. You got from like I say from like 16. We'll say from like 15, 16 all the way up to like 23, 24. That's like young nigga. I don't give a fuck. Reckless, savage, um, just ready to put it all on the line. And some of them move different. Don't get it wrong. There's some young niggas that are very solid, stand on business, making very very good money. It's a different time of day. So there's young niggas that are smart, and they might not want to listen to the old G's because they feeling like they just hating on them, or they're telling them what to do, like they have their authority of being older. So a young nigga might not listen to what an OG has to say. But like I said, there's always certain ones that will put you on game, and they'll let you know what's up. You know what I mean? Like they're there to be like, hey, youngin, like they they see it in them. There's certain ones where they can see it in you, and you might be a young nigga. You might get the women, the money, the cars. You might move different. When you walk in a room, people can feel that energy, so they might put you on the game to where you don't fall back. Or you might not make the same mistake that you did, because when they look at you, they see something in themselves. You know what I mean? So that's why they'll take the time to come out. So you gotta respect it. I feel like, so as a young nigga, I feel like it's a 50-50 with them. You get the ones that are that crash out. You got crash dummies, and you got the ones that actually want to make it out of any situation that they're in. You know what I mean? And so yeah. And then with an unk stage, I feel like unk stage is probably between like, well, I say between like 35, and we'll even say between like 35 almost hitting 50. We'll say that's unk stage. On stage, that's like yo big bro. I feel like, so we'll say like mid 30s. We'll do like 33, 34, 35, 36. You got on stage, so you I feel like that's in between. So like if you in your 30s right now, if you're like in your 30s, like early 30s, hitting your 30s, or like you're getting to that range, I feel like me right now, like me being in my 20s still, getting up to hitting 30 in a few years, like I feel like I'm in between the young niggas and the on stage. So like I was able to grow up with the newer generation right now, and the generation I'm in, and then the generation that's a few years older than me. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle. So I feel like I'm almost to that on stage. You feel me? So I'm kind of in between of the generations right now. Even if you're like, we'll say, even if you're like 31, 32. Sorry, that's my phone, guys, because I'm recording on my phone. So, like, that's just the, don't mind me. So, we'll say like 31, 32. That's like unk stage. So, basically, you grew up in between. You still a young nigga, but you getting older. So, like, you got a lot to offer also. And I feel like that's when the young niggas will kind of look towards like the unk stage, because you in between, like you still young, and you might look like them, but at the same time you've done all that shit, or you might be doing that shit, so you can tell them the ins and out of the loopholes also. So this is why, like, this is a great conversation to have, and I feel like anybody looks at it from all different perspectives, because I could come on here with another dude, like another person right now, and he could tell me the opposite of what I just said about an unk or an old head or a young nigga, right? So like that's why I feel like we need to sit down and have this discussion, and I need other opinions on how people feel about that type of shit. And I've been reminiscing about this for a long time. But I feel like that cycle can be broken, especially when there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of YNs, we'll say YNs, that are very smart, that know how to move right, that are maybe in their early 20s right now, that are making real solid businesses, that are making real legit money, six figures. So like it just all depends on the person. But like if you're right now, you're an outsider, and they calling you lame, they calling you a sherm, they make fun of you because you smart, you might read, or you might not fit in with the certain type of black crowd, doesn't mean that you ain't black, bro. It doesn't mean that you don't come from that same environment. It just means that you're trying to do better, you're trying to move better. And that's what I'm coming on her talking about, because like with me, the way that I talk, the way that I dress, my mentality. People have tried to tell me that, oh, you're a white man trapped in a black dude's body, but how is that the case? Just because I choose to be myself. You know what I mean? So this all falls in the same category of what I feel like a stereotypical is, and even if you might even if you might talk like you from the hood and stuff, doesn't mean that you're not intelligent, doesn't mean that you're not smarter than somebody who might have a degree, because sometimes them people be more smarter, and they know how to move better in life when it comes to business and life decisions. Doesn't mean just because you go to college that it's beneficial. It depends on what the degree is. Maybe for like doctors and lawyers and people in the society that we actually tend to, that are like heroes, those, that's what matters. But Man, I'm just saying that you can't judge a book by its cover. So like, there's a lot of niggas out here that maybe their appearance isn't everything, or they might people might be intimidated or scared, and they might look at them just because of the shade, the color, the shade of the color of their skin. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of smart young black individuals out here, and I want to toast to that and toast to y'all. But that's what I wanted to come on here and say, man, because I feel like it's important for all three of those categories, because you got the young niggas, and sometimes you need a young nigga to talk to another young nigga, and that's important too, because if they look alike, they speak the same, and they coming from the same place, he might be able to actually knock some sense into him because of the way that it's told to him. He might not listen to his mama, he might not listen to his older brother sometimes, but if you with that nigga through thick and thin every single day, and that's your boy, he got your back, then he should be able to tell you when you're doing something wrong, or he should tell you like, hey, this isn't the type of life you live. Just like back then, bro, the the generation back then is different, because when you had like ball players, you had certain people that you knew that were finna make it. They watched out for those type of niggas. They made sure, bro, they made sure that those niggas were gonna make it. Any type of basketball player from the 90s, we'll say from the early 90s, late 90s, going to the fucking 2000s, early 2000s, I'm pretty sure all those dudes in the hood knew that that certain dude was full of potential. So they knew not to fuck with him, or they knew not to put him in trouble, or nah, you too smart, go home. This ain't made for you. You go into the league. You know what I mean? And we need to get back to that type of structure, I feel like, because there's always been violence. It's always been bad. There's always been certain individuals that were looked at as gods. And don't get me wrong, we still have very powerful black leaders that are doing the best that they can, and we've came a long ways. But I feel like at the same time, we still got to get back to that structure, knowing that there's certain individuals that we need to protect because they're for the people. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm crazy for coming on here, really sitting here, taking the time to put this out into the universe, but I'm going to. And I've been waiting too long to be able to do things like this. I like to be able to sit down and have these type of conversations. And that, I think that's it for today, man. I wanted to come on here, chop it up, and maybe just get some opinions on what people think. You know what I mean? So this is definitely just a conversation to have. I don't know where I want to upload this yet. I know a lot of people go on Twitch. You got Discord. I might just put this shit on my YouTube. Um, and see the reactions. Maybe I can get somebody to tune in, and maybe they'll give me their opinions or what I was saying. And I'll probably add on later more segments and stuff like that. But let me know what y'all think about this type of video. Please like, subscribe, and just keep tuning in, man. I got a lot of stuff that I'm still working on. I'm trying to get more comfortable in front of the camera. So um, if this goes well, and maybe I can get people to tune in, then we might actually keep this bitch rolling. But y'all have a blessed, beautiful Sunday. Relax, enjoy it with your families, go outside, enjoy nature, drink some water, drink water. Make sure that you trying to eat clean, man. You only got one life, and you got to take care of your temple, man. Peace.